Princess Aurora finally encounters the human who rescued her long ago. Her pronouncement astonishes everyone. The colossal black power armor, embellished with glimmering gold trim, projects a daunting silhouette upon the immaculate marble floors of the Celestial Palace on Asteria Prime. Commander Alex Ryder, once a member of the Royal Guard and now a decorated military officer, marches through corridors he has not visited in more than a decade. His heavy boots resound against the polished stone, prompting curious stares from the staff, who promptly avert their eyes from his imposing presence. At 42, Alex remains in his prime, his dark beard carefully groomed and his nearly ebony hair displaying subtle traces of distinguished silver at the temples. Years of warfare and leadership have sharpened his body and mind into instruments as formidable as the sophisticated armor he wears. Commander Ryder, a youthful aide, addresses him, offering a slight bow. His Majesty, King Theodore, is expecting you in the High Council chamber. Alex gives a brief nod and follows the aide through winding corridors. The palace seems much as it did before, still flaunting that ethereal synthesis of cutting-edge engineering and classical architecture that once filled him with awe as a newly appointed guard fresh out of Earth's military academy. As they near the council chamber's ornate doors, a glimpse of Violet catches Alex's attention. A captivating figure appears from an adjacent hallway, a humanoid alien woman whose violet skin shimmers under the ambient lighting. Her long, sleek violet hair drapes gracefully past her shoulders, and her radiant violet eyes lock onto him with an intensity that halts his progress. She is clad in a golden corset that emphasizes her elegant form, combined with a matching mini-skirt that feels both regal and enticing. Something about her sparks a faint recollection, though he cannot immediately identify it. Commander Ryder, she practically purrs his name, her lips curving into a knowing grin. Or shall I call you Guard Ryder? It has been far too long. Alex maintains a composed exterior, though his thoughts race in an effort to identify her. Your Highness, he replies, noting the royal emblem. Her musical laughter reverberates throughout the corridor. You do not recognize me, do you? Perhaps you recall the frightened young princess you rescued from assassins in the palace gardens. I have grown somewhat since then. The memory strikes him like a surge of plasma. Princess Aurora, King Theodore's youngest daughter. He had thwarted an attack on her life during his initial year as a royal guard, but the awkward teenage princess he recalls has transformed into the self-assured, mesmerizing woman standing before him. Princess Aurora, he says with a respectful bow, my apologies for not recognizing you more swiftly. You have changed considerably. Indeed, I have, Commander. She moves closer, her fragrance reminiscent of rare alien blossoms. We will have ample time to get reacquainted. I will be attending today's council session with Father. Before Alex can respond, the chamber doors swing open. Princess Aurora glides past him, her shoulder grazing his armor. Until later, Commander, she murmurs, slipping into the chamber. Alex inhales deeply, steadying himself, and enters after her. The circular hall is filled with advisors and dignitaries, with King Theodore presiding from a raised throne. The king has aged gracefully, his violet skin deeper in hue than his daughter's and his bearing still worthy of respect. Commander Ryder, King Theodore's powerful voice echoes around the chamber. Welcome back to Asteria Prime. Your expertise is urgently required. Alex steps forward, about to kneel, when Princess Aurora's voice rings out, clear and resolute. Father, before we address state affairs, I have a declaration. All eyes shift to the princess as she stands, poised and regal. I intend to marry Commander Ryder. Gasps ripple through the chamber. Alex freezes mid-bow, struggling to absorb her words. King Theodore's expression darkens as he grips the arm of his throne. We shall address your folly later, daughter, he growls. There are matters of greater importance that demand the commander's attention. Princess Aurora merely smiles, reclaiming her seat while keeping her gaze locked on Alex. He forces his attention back to the king, though he can sense the princess studying him throughout the entire meeting. As the council debates escalating security concerns for the kingdom, Alex silently wonders what the princess aims to accomplish. One certainty emerges. His return to Asteria Prime will be far more complicated than he ever imagined. In the days that follow, Alex contends with relentless obstacles as he tries to carry out his security responsibilities. Princess Aurora appears wherever he goes, each interaction more suggestive than the last. Rumors swirl among the palace staff regarding her bold pursuit of the human commander, their gossip echoing along the crystalline hallways. Commander Ryder, her melodious voice calls while he inspects the palace's defensive mechanisms. She arrives, wearing a flowing gown that seems to catch every ray of illumination. "I hoped I would find you here." Alex maintains a measured bearing, though his pulse hastens. "Your Highness, I am presently assessing vital security systems." "Excellent," she replies, stepping nearer. "I have always been intrigued by human innovations. Perhaps you can enlighten me." Her presence is captivating, her violet complexion glowing under the ambient light. Alex finds himself explaining each aspect of the security grid, conscious of the way she keeps edging closer. "Incredible," she breathes, her focus lingering on him rather than the console. "Humans are remarkably inventive. Tell me, Commander, does Asterian technology fascinate you equally?" "Your Highness, Aurora," she corrects him, lightly brushing the gold accents of his armor with her fingertips. "After all, we will soon be wed." Alex gently restrains her hand. "Princess, regarding your announcement in the council chamber." "I meant each and every word," she interjects, turning her hand in his until their fingers interlace. "I have often remembered the courageous human guard who saved me all those years ago, who exhibited such resolve and integrity." "You were still a child," he reminds her, releasing her hand. Her laughter resonates along the corridor. "I am not a child anymore, Commander. You cannot have failed to notice." Before he can speak, alarms suddenly wail across the sector. Instantly, Alex slips into combat readiness, positioning himself between the princess and any prospective threat. "Security breach in Section 7. The automated system blares. Remain here," Alex orders, but Aurora seizes his arm. "Section 7 encompasses the royal quarters," she says, her expression grave. "My rooms." Alex mutters a soft curse. "All right, but stay behind me." They hurry through the palace, Alex's battle training evident in his every move. On reaching Aurora's chambers, they discover the doors have been forced open, her private sanctuary left in chaos. "A warning," Aurora murmurs, picking up a smashed data crystal from her dressing table. They grow bolder. Alex surveys the room, his tactical instincts cataloging every detail. "You have been threatened previously." "Nothing beyond my capacity to manage," she replies with a casual shrug, though he detects the glimmer of worry in her eyes. "This stops now," he growls, his protective impulses intensifying. "You will share every detail about these threats with me over dinner." "In my private dining room tonight," she suggests mischievously, her confidence returning. Alex knows he should refuse, keep a professional distance, but the security risk is real, and he needs information. "Purely professional, Your Highness, of course." Her smile suggests anything but purely professional. That evening, Alex finds himself in Aurora's private dining hall, having exchanged his armor for formal attire, still concealing multiple weapons. The princess has transformed the room into an intimate setting with soft lights and exotic blossoms. She arrives in a breathtaking gown that shimmers like liquid starlight. "Commander, you are surprisingly dashing without your armor." "The threats, Princess," he reminds her, though he cannot stop his gaze from lingering a second too long. "So serious," she teases, settling gracefully in her seat. "Very well." The menacing messages started shortly after Father disclosed his plan to abdicate. As they discuss the kingdom's political climate, Aurora leans forward at intervals, a provocative undercurrent in her gestures that tests Alex's self-control. She displays genuine curiosity in Earth's governance, skillfully weaving flirtatious moments into the conversation. "You see, Commander," she says, sipping her wine, "my announcement was not solely about attraction, though." Her gaze drifts appreciatively over him. "That does play a part." "Your Highness?" A union between Earth's finest warrior and Asteria's princess would strengthen both civilizations, she continues, then stands and moves behind him, resting her hands lightly on his shoulders. I find human males absolutely enthralling. Alex sits motionless, hyper-aware of her touch. Princess, this violates professional norms. By which standards? She counters, her fingers tracing patterns along his shoulders. Not Asterian ones. Did you know our nobility frequently chooses partners based on valor and virtue rather than lineage? I am not nobility, he says, his tone rougher than he intended. No, she concedes, leaning down to murmur near his ear. You are something far more intriguing, a human who earned his position through skill, not birthright. Do you realize how enticing that is to an Asterian woman? Their evening continues as a delicate interplay between professionalism and provocation. Alex keeps his composure, yet each exchange with Aurora further strains his resolve. She is bright, passionate, and unwavering, the sort of qualities that captivate him despite his better judgment. Afterward, as he escorts her back to her chambers, now safeguarded with additional measures, she pauses at the doorway. Be honest, Commander. Are you as captivated by me as I am by you? Alex meets her gaze, seizing a moment of sincerity. Princess, any man would feel honored by your attention, but my duty may well include protecting me as my consort, she finishes, stepping forward. Ponder it, Commander. Sometimes duty and desire align flawlessly. She kisses his cheek lightly before disappearing into her quarters, leaving Alex reflecting on the precarious path unfolding before him. The assassination attempt materializes during the annual Stellar Convergence Festival. Alex notices a faint distortion in the air on a palace balcony, just as the assailant raises their weapon. Without delay, he lunges toward Princess Aurora, his advanced reflexes enabling him to shield her while energy blasts streak through the space where she stood a moment earlier. I have you, he murmurs, cradling her close as they seek refuge behind a crystal column. The warmth of her body against his sends an untimely rush of excitement through him in spite of the peril. My savior once more, Aurora quips, clutching his armor. We really should find safer ways to meet. Even under threat, her capacity for banter amazes him. The palace guards rush to secure the balcony, but the assassin has already flowed, leaving only scorched marks as clues. King Theodore reacts swiftly and decisively. Commander Ryder, from this moment onward, you are assigned as my daughter's personal guardian. You will follow her everywhere and safeguard her with your life. Alex bows, of his heart pounds at the implications. Yes, your majesty. Everywhere, Aurora echoes with a playful gleam in her eyes. How marvelously thorough, father. The king's stern glance reveals he does not share her humor. This is no jest, daughter. The assassin will undoubtedly strike again. Then I am fortunate to have Earth's most skilled warrior by my side, she remarks, linking her arm with Alex's. Shall we inaugurate our new arrangement at once, Commander? The ensuing days challenge Alex's self-discipline more than any mission has before. Aurora eagerly tests every limit of their enforced closeness. She requests his presence during her morning sessions in the anti-gravity pool, wearing swimsuits that leave little to the imagination. She insists he remain with her at dress fittings, seeking his perspective on outfits that grow increasingly daring. How about this one, Commander? She asks one evening, stepping from her dressing area in a gown woven from what appears to be starlight itself. Too bold for a diplomatic function. Alex purposefully fixes his gaze on her face. It is suitable, Your Highness. Aurora, she reminds him, approaching with that innate grace that quickens his pulse. After all this time in each other's company, surely we can abandon formalities. Princess, do you know what intrigues me most about humans? She interrupts, placing a hand along his jawline. Your remarkable capacity for restraint. Any Asterian male would have acted upon this attraction between us by now. Alex catches her wrist, but does not pull away. I am not Asterian. No, she agrees, drawing nearer. You are far more compelling, so controlled, so principled. Her other hand settles on his chest. I wonder what it would take to make you abandon that famed human restraint. This is improper, he manages, though his voice comes out low. Whose definition of improper? She presses. Not ours. In Asterian culture, this prolonged dance of denial would be deemed excessive. When we sense attraction, we pursue it. Your father named me your personal protector, Alex protests. And I have never felt safer than when you hold me, she counters, recalling the moment of her rescue. She must sense the shift in his demeanor, because she seizes her opportunity, rising on tiptoe to graze her lips against his. The surge is electric, toppling years of discipline in a single instant. Alex enfolds her in his arms, one hand in her violet hair and the other at the small of her back. She molds herself to him, her alien warmth seeping through his uniform. When they part, both breathing unevenly, Aurora's eyes glow with excitement and triumph. At last, she whispers, "I was beginning to worry I might need another attack on my life just to captivate you." Her teasing breaks the remaining barrier of his self-control, and he laughs softly, resting his forehead against hers. "You are relentless." "I am determined," she corrects, "and now that I have penetrated those defenses of yours, Commander, I intend to explore my success thoroughly." The culmination is both inevitable and extraordinary. Their initial night together becomes a revelation of contrasts and harmonies. Human and Asterian passion woven into a dance as ancient as the cosmos. Alex marvels at how seamlessly they unite, how natural it feels to cross every boundary between their species. Later, lying in her chambers with Aurora snug against his side, Alex traces faint shapes on her violet skin. This changes everything. It alters nothing, she contradicts, lifting herself on one elbow to face him. "Except that now you can no longer deny the obvious. We aren't meant for each other." "Your father will need to be persuaded," Alex cautions. "He will adjust," she states confidently. "Especially once he recognizes this is more than mere lust. You are the only one who ever regarded me as more than a princess, the only one who defends me, challenges me, treats me as an equal. So that is why you announced our marriage plans to the entire council." Her grin turns mischievous. "Mostly it was to witness your expression. But yes, I meant every word." "Minx," he mutters affectionately, pulling her against him. "You are mine," she playfully retorts, settling herself in his embrace. "And never forget it, Commander." Their budding intimacy intensifies Alex's vigilance instead of diminishing it. By day, he preserves a professional demeanor, though the palace staff notices telling changes, a lingering touch from Aurora, a subtle shift in Alex's typically stern features whenever she is nearby. By night, they immerse themselves in each other, discovering the nuances of one another's bodies and hearts. Word of Commander Ryder's relationship with Princess Aurora spreads through the palace like a quantum ripple impossible to restrain. In the royal gardens, whispers multiply. Servants exchange insinuating glances, and noble lineages debate the consequences of a human Asterian union. They say he makes her glow. A handmaiden murmurs to another as Alex walks by. Literally, her companion giggles. Her bioluminescence brightens when she is around him. Indeed, Aurora's intrinsic Asterian ability to emit a soft violet luminescence has intensified since their intimate connection began. Alex finds himself spellbound by the way her skin seems to shimmer with his every touch. "You were doing it again," Alex quietly remarks during a formal gathering, noticing the faint glow beneath her skin while he stands guard behind her. "I cannot help it," she replies in a gentle undertone. It is an involuntary reaction to strong emotions. Although the noble guests pretend not to see, the twitch of their distinctive Asterian antennae betrays their curiosity. By the time dessert is served, Alex counts at least a dozen hushed discussions revolving around human Asterian compatibility. That evening, once they are alone in her suite, Aurora laughs about the speculative chatter. "You should hear the hypotheses they are concocting about human biology. Evidently, they suspect you possess secret pheromone glands that render you irresistible to Asterian females. And here I thought it was my sparkling personality," Alex teases, tugging her closer. "Well, that too," she concedes, running her fingers across his chest. "Along with your strength, your integrity, your remarkable endurance." Their encounter that night intensifies her glow until it fills the entire room. Later, as they lie together in a languid embrace, Aurora traces the scars on his chest with fingers illuminated by her soft violet light. The royal physicians are fascinated by our bond, she mentions casually. They have never documented a successful human-Asterian match before. Alex grows slightly tense. They wish to examine us. Not exactly, she clarifies, the brightness of her skin pulsing with what he realizes is nervousness, though they did carry out a few discreet scans during my routine health assessment, and they concluded that our species are more genetically compatible than anyone ever imagined, especially regarding reproduction. His heart misses a beat. Are you implying? Not just yet, she assures him. But it is possible. According to them, if the conditions are right, our genetic structures could align. They appear rather enthusiastic about the prospect of a hybrid heir. The idea shocks and excites him in equal measure. A human-Asterian child, an event with repercussions for both worlds. Your father will have thoughts on this, Alex says carefully. My father, Aurora responds with a wry grin, receives daily reports on your efficiency as my protector, including detailed accounts of the 3 assassination plots you have foiled this month. 2 of them were training drills he orchestrated, Alex points out. Precisely, and you uncovered both simulations immediately, while preserving absolute composure, Aurora says, rewarding him with a kiss. He is impressed, even if he will not voice it. In the following days, political debates erupt around their relationship. Traditionalists insist that a human consort would undermine the royal bloodline, while reformists applaud the alliance with Earth. Through it all, Alex remains steadfast in his duties, even as the knights belong solely to Aurora. Their love only strengthens under the scrutiny, and each challenge serves to bind them more closely. He comes to love not just her elegance, but her sharp intellect, her diplomatic skill, and her unwavering resolve to carve out her own destiny. During a heated council discussion on the issue of succession, Aurora stuns everyone once again by openly defending their bond. The resilience of our realm, she proclaims, does not stem from strict adherence to tradition, but from our ability to embrace beneficial progression. Commander Ryder exemplifies humanity's highest virtues: bravery, integrity, dedication. Traits that any royal lineage would be fortunate to inherit. The entire chamber falls silent, the hush broken only by the echo of Alex's boots as he advances to stand beside her. Though modest, the action speaks volumes about their solidarity. That night, they make love with renewed intensity, an intermingling of pride and deep affection. Aurora's radiance lights up her chamber in a vivid violet glow, transforming the space into a dreamlike realm. You are growing brighter, Alex notes, impressed by the extent of her luminescence. The doctors claim it is because of you, she says, nestling against him. Human passion supposedly amplifies Asterian abilities. Apparently they are writing treatises on the phenomenon. Terrific, he groans. I have become a scientific anomaly. You have become a legend, she corrects, her voice brimming with satisfaction. The human who captured an alien princess's heart and made her glow more brightly than any star in the cosmos. The morning Aurora realized she was pregnant, her entire bedchamber burst forth in a dazzling violet radiance. Alex Ryder woke up to see her drifting several inches above the mattress, a sight he had only witnessed during their most intense moments. Alex, she murmured, her voice quivering with excitement and awe. The physicians were correct about our compatibility. He drew her gently back into his embrace, fascinated by how her skin rippled with waves of luminescence. The revelation overwhelmed him with a profound mix of jubilation and a fierce urge to protect. A human Asterian baby, their baby, would alter everything. Are you pleased? She inquired, observing his expression with those hypnotic violet eyes. He answered by offering a deep, fervent kiss that left both of them gasping, her glow escalating to nearly blinding brightness. I'll interpret that as a yes, she teased, nestling against him. King Theodore's reception of the news was more controlled. He sat in his private study, his royal antennae twitching while the court physicians clarified their findings. The fetus shows an intriguing fusion of human and Asterian attributes, the lead physician stated. The genetic blend seems stable, perhaps even exceptional in some respects. the child will likely possess enhanced physical prowess from its human lineage while retaining Asterian psychic gifts. And regarding succession, the king probed, his gaze settling on Alex. A hybrid heir would stand for the ultimate partnership between our nations. Aurora interjected before anyone else could respond, the perfect link between two great worlds. The king's features softened as he regarded his daughter, noticing how she practically beamed with joy on both an emotional and physical level. Her pregnancy had magnified her innate bioluminescence beyond anything previously documented. "Commander Ryder," he eventually said, "it appears you have managed to exceed all of your assigned duties, including certain tasks I never endorsed." Alex stood firmly at attention, but Aurora's fingers slipped around his, connecting them. "Your Majesty, I love your daughter. I intend to spend my life guarding her and our child." "Yes," the king reflected, "you've shown that time and again." He rose from his seat, walking toward them. "Perhaps it's time we formalize matters." The official announcement of both their engagement and Aurora's pregnancy sent tremors of excitement through the kingdom. The palace buzzed with anticipation as preparations began for the inaugural human Asterian royal wedding in recorded history. Their evenings became even more heated, if that was possible, since Aurora's pregnancy heightened her natural responsiveness to Alex's caresses, frequently triggering assorted gravitational oddities in their quarters. Palace staff learned to knock very vigorously before entering, following multiple incidents of levitating furniture. "The engineers are eager to examine the anti-gravity phenomena we create," Aurora remarked one evening, tracing the firm planes of Alex's chest. "Apparently, our passion emits sufficient psychic force to affect localized physics." "Absolutely not," Alex rumbled, pulling her closer. "Some experiences must remain private," she laughed, her skin gleaming with delight. The formidable Commander Ryder, reluctant to showcase his gifts. The formidable Commander Ryder, intent on preserving precious moments with his princess, he corrected, kissing her deeply. Their wedding plans blossomed into an enthralling convergence of human and Asterian customs. Aurora insisted on including Earth traditions beside ancient Asterian rites, forging something entirely original, much like their unborn child. During a private pause among the palace's crystalline blossoms, Alex found himself pondering the astonishing path that had led them there. "When you initially declared you'd marry me in front of the council, did you ever envision this?" Aurora rested her hand atop her slightly rounded belly, her glow steady and gentle. "I knew what I desired the instant I laid eyes on you again, though the specifics have surpassed my wildest expectations." Their actual wedding was a spectacular occasion, broadcast to both Earth and Asterian realms. Aurora radiated in a gown that resembled starlight incarnate, her pregnancy-augmented glow bestowing an unearthly aura that left onlookers speechless. Alex, attired in ceremonial armor, blending human military precision with Asterian creativity, couldn't tear his gaze away from her. As they exchanged vows in both human and Asterian tongues, her jubilation made a few decorative crystals rise from their pedestals. "My magnificent chaos," he whispered as they shared their first kiss as a married couple, disregarding the floating objects near them. That evening, their passion stirred such potent gravitational shifts that the palace's artificial gravity needed recalibrating. They noticed nothing, immersed in their private universe of elation and devotion. As Aurora's pregnancy advanced, her natural Asterian glow surged to remarkable levels. The palace engineers had to install specialized light-dampening fields in their suite, just so Alex could rest at night. Not that he objected to being awake with her. Their ardor had only intensified alongside her body's transformations. "The doctors claim it's perfectly typical," Aurora assured him one evening, drifting contentedly in their secluded anti-gravity pool. Her expanded belly glistened with swirling designs of radiance that seemed to mirror their growing baby's movements. "Human Asterian pregnancies evidently boost our inherent capabilities." Alex observed her from the pool's edge, captivated by her otherworldly beauty. "Nothing about you has ever been ordinary, my beloved." She chuckled, the sound creating luminous ripples across her skin. "True, though you certainly foster my peculiar responses." preparations for the birth of their child became a fascinating collaboration of human and Asterian medical expertise. The palace physicians teamed up with human doctors, all of them eager to document this unprecedented chapter. The baby displays astonishing features, Dr. Olivia Hayes, Earth's foremost xenobiologist, commented during an exam. The fusion of human resilience and Asterian psychic capacity is progressing impeccably, though we should brace for somewhat extraordinary birthing circumstances. Extraordinary in what sense? Alex inquired, his protective tendencies rising. Well, the doctor hesitated, considering the princess's enhanced gravitational manipulation. We may need to secure all objects in the birthing chamber and reinforce the ceiling. Aurora squeezed his hand comfortingly. Don't fret, my darling. Asterian mothers have delivered children while floating for centuries, though generally not quite so dramatically. Their nights together morphed into a delicate interplay of desire and caution. Alex discovered fresh methods to satisfy his wife while accommodating her evolving body, leading to several notable moments featuring abrupt anti-gravity fields and airborne furniture. You're improving at controlling it, he joked one evening after successfully keeping their mattress on the floor despite Aurora's powerful pleasure. Practice refines everything, she purred, her skin flickering with afterglow. Although our little one likes to interrupt my focus. As if on cue, a surge of light rippled across her midsection, accompanied by a small gravitational pulse that lifted numerous objects from nearby surfaces. The palace staff adapted splendidly to their princess's unique condition. They learned to secure anything loose in her vicinity because her emotions, especially around Alex, could trigger sudden gravitational anomalies. King Theodore exhibited enormous pride in his daughter's pregnancy, though he maintained a dignified facade. Alex sometimes noticed him reviewing the security footage from the palace gardens, where Aurora floated gracefully among the crystal blossoms. She's never been so content, the king confided during a private conversation. Her mother would have been overjoyed to witness this. She constantly believed our people would discover new strength through embracing diversity. Mention of Aurora's late mother, who had passed on years earlier, moved Alex greatly. I wish I could have met her. She would have cherished you, Theodore assured him, especially seeing how you influence Aurora. She's been beaming like this only once before, when she was a girl. As the pregnancy drew near its conclusion, the entire palace hummed with expectancy. The nursery was a perfect blend of human practicality and Asterian elegance. A one-of-a-kind anti-gravity cradle had been fitted, crafted to align with the baby's anticipated powers. Do you believe our child will float as I do? Aurora wondered, observing Alex test the cradle's safeguards. I think our child will be extraordinary, he answered, drawing her close, just like their mother. Their intimacy that night was tender yet fierce, their feelings deepened by the little life flourishing between them. Aurora's glow suffused their rooms with a soft violet aura, her bliss emanating in mild anti-gravity pulses that gently lifted them above the blankets. I never imagined love could be so all-encompassing, so transcendent, she murmured afterward, nestled at his side. Alex stroked her hair, marveling at how it shimmered beneath his hand. You've appended all I believed about love, about existence itself. And to think, she teased, it all started when I stunned everyone by declaring I'd marry you in a council session. Greatest shock of my life, he muttered, kissing her with devotion. The birth of Prince Leo Ryder literally rocked the celestial palace. As Aurora's labor peaked, her expanded abilities unleashed waves of anti-gravity that trembled through the entire edifice. Alex stayed at her side, his unwavering presence anchoring her while their son arrived in spectacular fashion. He's flawless, Aurora breathed, cuddling their newborn. The baby carried Alex's strong features, softened by Aurora's violet skin tone, forging a magnificent union of both legacies. His eyes, once opened, revealed brilliant silver irises that appeared to contain stars, as though starlight were condensed within. Alex wholeheartedly agreed, brimming with emotion as he held his family together. Prince Leo's first cry triggered an energy surge that briefly disabled the palace's artificial gravity, hinting at the powerful gifts he would unlock. The medical personnel, human and Asterian alike, were thrilled about the thriving birth of history's first human-Asterian hybrid. "His genetic map is astonishing," Dr. Hayes said as she scrutinized the early scans. "He possesses elevated physical traits from his human side alongside extraordinary Asterian psychic promise. This successful harmony of both species' prime qualities represents limitless possibilities for future relations." King Theodore, now a delighted grandfather, could scarcely restrain his exhilaration. "He carries the emblem of our ancient bloodline," he observed, referring to the unique patterns rippling over Leo's violet skin as he moved. "Yet he bears his father's resilience, a flawless union of our peoples." Festivities persisted for weeks, spanning both Earth and Asterian regions. Their son became a shining emblem of hope, undeniable proof that humanity and alien civilizations could craft something wondrous together. Stepping into parenthood endowed Alex and Aurora's bond with fresh facets. Their desire for each other remained powerful, but now held tender notes of shared amazement as they watched their son develop. Leo's nursery necessitated continuous technological refinements as his escalating powers emerged. Levitating playthings turned into a regular occurrence. "He's inherited your cheeky nature," Alex quipped one evening, watching their son suspend his plush animals in elaborate shapes. "And your resolve," Aurora answered, leaning into his hold. Her post-pregnancy glow had settled into a steady luminescence that intensified whenever she was close to her family. He refused to let gravity hinder him from grabbing his favorite toy earlier. Their evenings morphed into cherished intervals stolen between official duties and parental obligations, yet their yearning for each other only deepened, empowered by their shared devotion to Leo. Their passionate exchanges continued to spark gravitational inconsistencies, but they had learned to direct the energy more smoothly. "The engineers finally quit grumbling about the energy fluctuations near our quarters," Aurora joked one night, dragging shining fingertips across Alex's torso. "Though I'm uncertain if we've refined our control or if they've simply upgraded the containment systems." "Let's test their upgrades," Alex proposed, drawing her into a kiss so potent that they both drifted a few inches above the bedding. As Leo matured, his distinctive lineage manifested more clearly. He displayed Alex's natural leadership qualities combined with Aurora's unearthly elegance. His command over gravity and energy surpassed all predictions, prompting specialized instruction from both human and Asterian teachers. The diplomatic influence of their son's presence sparked a golden era in relations among species. Envoys from across the galaxy frequented the Celestial Palace, eager to witness the triumphant melding of human and alien genes. "Our son is transforming the world," Aurora remarked one tranquil afternoon in the palace gardens, watching Leo practice levitating crystal sculptures while his proud grandfather observed. Just as his mother did when she startled everyone by declaring her intent to marry a so-called ordinary human god, Alex responded, holding her snugly. "Greatest choice I ever made," she murmured, her skin pulsing with affection and longing. "Though I believe giving life to Leo might tie for the top spot." Their lovemaking that evening honored everything they had accomplished: their affection, their family, their bridge uniting civilizations. As they rested together, feeling their son's serene presence through a strengthening psychic bond, Alex reflected on how a single shocking statement had led to such unimaginable joy. "What's on your mind?" Aurora asked, tracing the grin on his lips. "I'm considering how lucky I am that you refuse to let human Asterian differences stop you," he murmured, kissing her passionately. "Your species' finest trait is your capacity to surpass any boundary," she said. "I simply helped demonstrate that reality to the stars." On the 5th anniversary of Prince Leo's birth, the Celestial Palace encountered its fiercest threat. A radical group determined to halt human Asterian unification staged a last-ditch assault during the celebration. Their focus, the hybrid prince, personifying all their anxieties about transformation. Alex's combat alertness surged at once when the palace's defensive grid flickered. Aurora, he projected through their telepathic link, a connection that had solidified over the years. Already acting, she answered, her maternal instincts magnifying her powers as she formed a protective gravity shield around their son. The aggressors hadn't anticipated contending with human tactical prowess combined with Asterian psychic might in flawless coordination. Alex's strategic brilliance and Aurora's powers forged an unstoppable defense. Years of closeness had taught them to anticipate each other's actions, their bodies and minds aligned as one. Young Leo, instead of displaying fear, revealed the ideal synthesis of his parents' strengths. His silver eyes gleamed with resolve while he assisted his mother in upholding the barrier, reflecting his father's steady bravery. "That's my boy," Alex thought proudly, recognizing his son's innate leadership emerging despite the turmoil. The skirmish concluded quickly, the would-be assassins seized and their scheme unveiled, but the real victory was what ensued. Representatives from both human and Asterian communities had observed an extraordinary display of interspecies cooperation. "Behold," King Theodore addressed the urgent council assembly, "the fruits of our unity, not merely power, but comprehension. My grandson stands for more than just our future. He is a pattern for unbounded possibility." Later that night, as Colm returned to the palace, Alex found Aurora in their secluded garden. She hovered among the crystal blossoms, her violet skin shining with renewed vigor. The day's events had only magnified their awareness of one another, their bond humming with shared adrenaline and desire. "Our son asked me for combat lessons today," she mentioned when Alex arrived. "He hopes to become strong like his father." "He's already stronger than me," Alex replied, gathering her into his arms. "He has your heart." That kiss set off shimmering flashes across Aurora's skin, her elation creating gentle anti-gravity waves that lifted them off the ground. Their longing, tempered by years of marriage yet still electric, formed a spectacle of light that could rival the stars overhead. Celebrations continued the next day, transformed into a grander tribute to human-Asterian collaboration. Delegations from the far corners of the galaxy watched Prince Leo demonstrate his unusual abilities, a perfect mixture of human physical aptitude and Asterian psychic force. "Tell me how it happened again," Leo implored that evening, his silver eyes alight with wonder. "How did you and father fall in love?" Aurora laughed, sharing a playful glance with Alex. "Well, it began when I stunned everyone by announcing my determination to marry your father in a council gathering." "Greatest shock of my life," Alex added, drawing his wife closer. "The guards still gossip about father's face when you made that statement," Leo joked, hovering slightly above his bed in excitement. As they tucked their son in, Alex and Aurora reflected on their path, from that first startling declaration to the bliss they currently enjoyed. Each step had fortified their union, and their devotion had forged not only a family, but also a passage between two realms. Later, in their chambers, their passion flared with the intensity they knew so well. Aurora's bioluminescence sketched patterns of illumination across their bodies as they reveled in their love, moving together in absolute harmony. The anti-gravity field they conjured was contained by now standard damping devices, though the engineers continued to grumble about minor power surges. "I have another surprise for you," Aurora murmured afterward, resting against Alex's chest. "Oh?" "Leo might soon have a sister," she revealed, her skin radiating with elation. "The physicians confirmed it just yesterday." Alex's heart soared as he wrapped her in a profound kiss, their bliss causing a cascade of floating objects around them. Their shared story, initiated by one princess's startling proclamation, would keep evolving. Historians would eventually mark their bond as the true inception of the golden age of human-Asterian relations. Their children would ascend as legendary figures, uniting cultures and propelling each society forward. But for Alex and Aurora, their finest accomplishment remained their love, a power strong enough to surpass species boundaries, conquer gravity, and illuminate the cosmos itself. Would you relive it all? Alex wondered on their 20th anniversary, watching their grandchildren frolic among the palace blossoms. Aurora responded with a kiss that once again made them glow and rise gently in the air. Every surprise, every instant, every star shining in the sky, she whispered against his lips, "You're worth all of it."